Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the third solo session within Tales of Iotura. The stories that we have followed have been nothing short of exciting and incredibly intriguing given their details. We've followed the story of Mordecai Urujan, the heir to a tribe that has essentially let his father down and is leaving to the capital to sort of find himself and also to answer the calling of the Mark. And then, where we last left, we also followed the adventures of Salazar Kalanar. His current whereabouts are unknown, and he was injured after a brawl with what appeared to be some mysterious man linked to his past. But now, we go ahead, and we find ourselves in a different part of Iotura. This part of Iotura is lush, green, and full of life. The tree-topped kingdom of Toprivanyia. But before we go ahead and focus in on our subject of tonight's session, I'd like to go ahead and first and foremost do a little bit of shameless plugging here. So, this game will be going ahead, and as you can see on the infograph showing here, we are live on twitch.tv, and we are live on Mondays at, let me go ahead and verify here, yep, we are live on Mondays at 6 p.m. PDT. That is going to be 9 p.m. EST for those of you on the East Coast. If you are currently watching this and you see that you're on the same day, go ahead and stop on by, check us out. Fun group sessions. We're always, down to have new people listen in on these things. So I'd greatly appreciate it, as I'm sure all of my players would also greatly appreciate it. Aside from that, though, like I said, really appreciate you tuning into these episodes. Every time you guys show up, it really does mean a lot. Aside from that, without further ado, I think we should go ahead and get in to the session. Let me go ahead here and so, deep within the wooded kingdom of Toprivanyia, this sort of kingdom has essentially been around for a very long time, one of the oldest of the 5 kingdoms. And it is here that we go ahead and we find our latest adventure. You see, in Toprivanyia, there is a location that is unlike a lot of the other locations within Iotura. A place by the name of the Empty Moon. An old ruin that was from the before times during the 20 Kingdom War. Children from Toprivanyia's capital of Larkbost are often set here to essentially gather any artifacts or explore any unearthed rooms within these ruins. The benefits are, of course, uncertain, but most of the time involve coin and possibly a little bit of honor to be given to your family when you return home. We find ourselves here in Empty Moon, at the top of a corroded tower, barely standing, moss growing between its bricks, and we see in what appears to be the remains of an old study that has recently been unearthed. An Asimar. Tyvil. As you sort of stand there within these sort of musty ruins, you can sort of see that a lot of the books here are aged and worn. Your satchel that you carry a lot of the artifacts that you earn from here is filled to the brim with a bunch of these different texts. You're unable to read them as they appear to be an old form of common that has gone long since out of use.
I'm sure I could get a couple coins from taking more of these. Maybe they could use them in a museum or something. I don't know. Let's gather around. Let's go. Let's go look around some more. Find some other stuff.
You begin going ahead and digging around, and if you'd like to go ahead and roll me a perception, let's see what you find.
The where is it? 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 Cactus sheep. Oh my gosh. I'm such a bot. It's on main. Okay, perception. Where is it?
Perception is under your skills on the main tab.
Yeah, I see now.
There you go. And so,
Damn. Nah, I think I got something with the dragon.
as you're sitting there digging around, you can't quite seem to identify or really see anything. Not only do you not have a lantern, but you also are kind of just haphazardly gazing around the room. This is a new area, and of course, just finding this place and reporting it back could give you some coin. As you're sitting there, though, looking around, you then hear a much younger voice calling out to you. Tyvil! Tyvil! It sounds incredibly excited. Do you turn to who's calling to you?
Yeah, I do.
You turn and you see a much younger diver coming towards you. She has essentially, as far as you know, been an orphan for quite some time, and she simply goes by the name of Sutor. Her parents are completely unknown, and she actually kind of mirrors your childhood quite a bit, and so you've kind of taken an almost big brother role for her. As she runs up to you, she appears to be out of breath as she says, Tyvil, look! She holds up a scroll.
What did you find here? Let me see. I'll take it and inspect it.
You take the rolled up paper and open it up, and you see the big headline on the paper. It appears that this was the sort of on the message board of Lark Boast, and she must have literally ran all the way here from Lark Boast just to deliver this information to you. It appears that the Marks of Narasis are beginning to choose new champions. One champion has been identified, a son of a tribe leader in the Rising Bow Children. No others have been identified as of yet.
Well, this is interesting. How fun it would be to be one of the marked. But hey, you never know. Maybe one of us will get that mark. You feel me?
She giggles at this before then going on and saying, Imagine if one of us got the mark. We wouldn't have to dive anymore. We'd have all the money and food for our families.
That is true. But I like diving, you know? It's kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of drawn to it. So I think even if I was marked, I'd still keep doing it.
She smiles and nods as she then notices all the books in your bag, and she says, Ooh, are those from here?
Why, yes. It's a new place that just popped up. I was thinking of selling these books for more coin. Feel me?
Ooh, what did you got? Did you get any spells?
Sadly, no. It's just books written in a tongue long forgotten.
She goes, Well, that's no good.
You never know. Somebody might have use for this.
Do you want me to help you look around?
Yeah, sure. Maybe we'll find something even more interesting, something useful for us.
And so, the two of you begin to go ahead and search around. How long would you like to go ahead and search for?
An hour.
Alright, go ahead and roll me another perception.
Okie dokie. skills. Perception. Fucking go.
Oh,
Fucking go!
so as you and her are beginning to dig around the room, you then feel an almost unnatural pull towards a bookshelf nearby. As you go ahead and you get closer and closer to the bookshelf, you can feel a migraine starting to form. Small
Go ahead.
small whispers begin to fill the inside of your head as you get closer and closer. When you finally settle upon the bookshelf, you see one book in particular that the whispers get incredibly loud as you stare at this one book. The book appears to be an old leathery journal, and there's appears to be some sort of strange scrawlings on the front.
I would pick it up and inspect it. These damn migraines, though.
By this point, you've gotten used to these painful migraines, and although they do tend to make you irritable, you do generally have your wits about you when you experience them. However, as you're sort of standing there, she notices your pain expression, and Sutor comes up to you and goes, "Is everything all right?"
Nothing I can't take. It's just the usual migraines I get from time to time.
She goes, "Oh, your head thing. Some of the village elders say that you're cursed."
I don't like to think of it as cursed, you know? It's just an unfortunate circumstance.
She then smiles and nods and says, "Good, I didn't believe them anyways."
Exactly. But let's see what we found here.
Do you open the book?
Yes, sir.
You open the book, and your vision goes black.
Oh. Well, man. Just like that.
So, after your vision goes black, you smell sulfur in your nose. You draw in a deep breath, and you can feel an immense heat building within your chest. As your vision slowly begins to clear, you look around you, and you see you're in the middle of a courtyard. In this courtyard, you see there are tons of soldiers surrounding you, their spears pointed at you.
What's the meaning of this? What happened? Where am I?
As you go to speak, you quickly recognize that your voice is not the voice coming out of you. A mighty roar erupts from you, and the men stumble back, saying, "Back away! Back away! The beast is getting ready to fire!" As this is going on, roll me a perception.
Yes, sir. Well, damn.
You don't really seem to be able to see much through all the smoke and all the carnage that is going on around you. As your eyes sort of dart quickly around the scene, you see people screaming, marauders running around, murdering each other, and from the looks of it, you look down at yourself, and you see the chromatic scales of a brass dragon where your body's supposed to be.
Well, damn. What the hell did I get myself into this time?
As you sit there in confusion, you feel a sharp pain in your side.
Take a look and see what's happening. You know?
You turn to your side and you see that you have a sword embedded deep. As it's sitting there, you see one of the marauders stumble back as he then points and says, "If it can bleed, it can die! Fight on, men!" All the other spearmen seem to get some form of courage from these words, and they start advancing on you. It is
Oh, no, go ahead.
it is then that during all of this, you hear almost the sounds of someone weeping. Do you turn to the noise?
Yes, sir.
You turn to the noise, and you see a rather young woman. She appears to have long golden hair. As she weeps and stares at you, she reaches a hand out, but then a hooded figure rushes over to her, stopping her and shaking their head. She looks at him before looking at you, and she lets out one last cry for you before then being dragged away, forced to leave you behind.
Do I have wings? Can I fly?
You do.
Hey, I'm gonna take to the skies and try to find like a empty place without like anybody, so I could figure out what's going on right now.
As your wretched wings stretch out high into the sky, the moonlight reflecting off your scales, you begin to feel yourself slowly lifting off the ground, an almighty gale being brought about from your strong flaps. But as you soar higher and higher into the air, you feel more and more sharp pains. Leaving the battlefield, they stab and jab at you, shooting arrows and shouting curses, damning your name. However, as you fly into the air, you slowly begin to fall back into unconsciousness. When you open your eyes, you see Sutur, and she looks incredibly upset and worried about you. And you see two other divers are now by your side. One of them you're completely unfamiliar with. It appears to be some teenage boy, but the other teenage boy you are familiar with, he goes by the name of Alvin. And Alvin appears to be looking at you incredibly concerned. He's snapping his fingers in front of your face as he says, Tyvil, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I must blacked out for a second. Maybe I'm just exhausted from all this diving.
That's what Sutur was telling me. Maybe you should head back to the village.
Yeah, I probably will do that. I'm gonna take the book with me though.
As you go to look around for the book, Sutur is the first one to say, I left the book behind. I thought it was cursed. I thought it did something to you.
Oh, did you now? Well, I might go back and head back for that book before I go back to the village. Something about that book is...
No, don't get it back. What if it hurts you again?
But that's the only answers I can find. Only thing that's leading me. It's calling to me. Not in some like weird way, but I have to go back. I must.
Alvin and Sutur kind of exchange a nervous glance as Alvin then says, Tyvil, I mean, it did kind of make you pass out. Are you sure it's the best idea?
Hmm, maybe not, but you never know. That book could be the answers I'm looking for. I know you guys probably don't understand, but it's something I must do.
Alvin sort of falls quiet as he stares at you, a very concerned look on his face. The other teen who was accompanying sort of backed away, unsure how to process the situation. But as you begin to turn and get ready to go for the book, you feel a pair of small hands grab your hand and try and hold you back. Suitor looks up at you, puffing out her cheeks and shaking her head, saying, "I won't let you go."
But why not? I'll be back in a flash. You don't have to worry.
"Promise?"
I pinky promise, you feel me?
She holds up her pinky expectantly.
And I'll go to take it, promise.
As you go to outstretch your other hand, you both lock pinkies. And both you and Sutor stare in wonder. Emblazoned on your wrist is the Mark of Narasis.
Oh, well, look at that. Maybe I was chosen. Now that's even more questions I'm going to have to find answers to.
Sutor, she stares in wonder as Alvin goes, There's no bloody way. You were chosen. Tyvil, you're a hero.
That's yet to be seen. But maybe, just maybe, this is the thing that could help me become one.
Well, we gotta go back to Loch Boast. We have to tell everybody.
Do want that book, though.
She goes, to hell with the book. We can send Sutor to go grab it. We gotta get you back to the city.
But it might be too dangerous for her. I wouldn't want to put her in harm's way. How about this?
She puffs out her chest and goes, Don't worry, I'm a big girl. I can do it.
Well, I know that. And I assure you are. But still, there's no point in putting you in unnecessary harm. How about this? I'll go back for the book, and y'all inform the rest of the people. I'll be back in a flash. And if I don't come back, send help, I guess. Come fish me out.
Alvin sighs as he says, I don't get what your obsession with that book is, but fine. We'll wait for you. Oh man, I can't wait to go back to the city as heroes. Man, those elders are really gonna eat their words about us diver orphans.
Oh, yes, they will. Trust me. They will. So stay here, or y'all could make a head start. It's up to y'all. But I'm gonna go grab this book real quick and be back. Stay out of trouble.
Alvin salutes as Sutor then says, I'm gonna go ahead. I can't wait to tell everybody. She quickly runs off.
Hey, follow behind her. Make sure she don't get in trouble, y'all.
Alvin goes, don't worry about it. Just go get the book so we can go quickly. She's gonna get away.
All right, I'll be back.
You quickly begin to head back up to the study. And upon arriving there, you see one of the bookshelves where you presume you had kind of toppled onto it has fallen over, strewing books and papers across the floor. You see the book that you were originally holding has been tossed into the corner, assumingly that Sutor was the one in doing that, having wrenched it from your hand and wanting to get it away from you.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take like a cloth and pick up the book and wrap it inside and put it in my satchel and try not to open it again.
As you go ahead and do this, you can still hear your whispers quietly murmuring in your head as you have a small migraine.
These damn migraines. Can't stand them, but maybe I'll be rid of them one day. And I start to head back.
You turn and begin to exit the ruins, heading back down to where you see Alvin waiting, his arms crossed and his foot tapping as he looked nervously back up at the tower. When he sees you walking up, he smiles and says, "Ready? And don't worry, Sutor couldn't have gotten too far."
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's make a. Let's get out of here.
He nods, and you both begin to walk off, heading up to Lark Boast. The journey to Lark Boast is quite long, on foot, and given that you're both rather young, with Alvin being a teenager, and of course you, well, you're an adult, but you still have to keep an eye on him. And so, it takes about a little under a day's journey. However, you were able to eventually catch up to Sutor, her having waited for you, seeing no one was following her originally.
Hey, are you okay?
You guys arrive in Lark Boast.
Hey, la post.
One moment. Oh no, it's not playing this one. Okay, we'll do this one.
Crying.
The forested city of Lark Boast is housed within the giant forest within Toprivanyia, the biggest one of the great four forests. This forest is simply known as the Forest of Harmony, and it houses the sort of main meeting area for the Council of Elders. Aside from that, it also being the big sprawling city that it is, has the most foot traffic. As you guys begin to sort of walk in from the edge of town, people pay you guys no mind, given that you're all only diver orphans. Essentially, no home and really no place to really go. People don't really care too terribly much. The elders say that it is sort of the duty of the people to raise you guys, but they really don't say they have to care. And so the people have taken it upon themselves to almost sort of shun orphans, only helping the ones that look like they are really in need. As you guys begin to enter town, Sutor is already practically jumping out of her like skin to like tell people, look at your wrist. Alvin, though, meanwhile, is holding her back, covering her mouth, going, "Shh, we don't want to cause a ruckus. We just want to make sure we can get to the council. Tell them first, and they can properly share the news."
Let's make our way to where they are.
As you guys begin making your way through the sprawling forest, walking up sort of wooden bridges that were set up along the thick trunks of these massive trees that make up this place, you see people living out their daily lives, hanging clothes. Although you never really felt home here, Tyvil, it still had some sense of general warmth that you've grown slightly cold to, given how everyone's treated you. Being an outcast and called cursed, essentially, by a lot of people. As you sort of walk past, windows and shutters are shut. People sort of turn their attention away from the three of you. And Alvin, sort of mutters to you, going, "Man, I bet they're all going to feel real dumb ignoring you once they learn what you are."
That is true. But hey, that just means, you know, we'll be set. I promise once I get back, you guys will never have to want again. Make sure y'all get anything y'all want. You feel me?
Alvin and Sutor both exchange a look, and then they smile up at you, going, "You really mean that?"
But of course, for you guys, you're like brothers and sisters to me. Anything for y'all.
As they both kind of get giddy and almost are practically skipping to get to the council house now, um, you eventually get to the front steps, and you see a tall elvish woman approach you as she says, "No, no, no, we're simply not going to allow riffraff to just waltz on in. Why do you need to be here?" As she looks down to the three of you. Alvin says, "Stow it, lady. You're talking to someone who bears the Mark of Narasis," as he beams with pride. She lets out a skeptical chuckle as she goes, "The Mark of Narasis? On you?" And he goes, "No, not on me. On him." He gestures to you.
And I'll
And
show her my wrist or whatever.
she looks up at you, laughing, going, "The cursed child has the mark. Please." And when you show your wrist, you watch her smug expression fade away into pure shock as she just sits there stammering. He then says, Alvin then says, "Well, lady, don't want you to, waste away, seeing that you're just a bag of bones at this point, but I think we're gonna walk right up to that council member and show him that mark now. Come on, Sutor. Say bye to the nice lady." She smiles up and goes, "Bye," as they both waltz past.
I'm gonna follow them. I got much to say to this lady.
She continues to stare after you in complete silence and disbelief, unsure of what to even say, as you begin to enter the grand chamber. From where you are, despite being so low within the building, given that it is the largest redwood that makes up the councilmen's homes, you can already hear within the chamber arguments being had as to who they think is going to be selected out of Toprivanyia to be the champion. And as Sutor and Alvin walk in, you quickly follow behind them, and the council all kind of focus their gaze to the three of you. And it appears that one of the older councilmen is the first one to speak, going, "Well, here now, what are you all doing here? I don't believe that we had any appointments with orphans at any point."
Well, yeah. But this is kind of, how much should I say, should be an exception as I raise my wrist to show all of them.
The elders all kind of like lean forward from their high podium that they sit upon, and it isn't until the eldest one quickly puts on his bifocals that he then says, "Preposterous! There's no way. He bears the mark." The entire chamber begins to erupt in sort of shouting and arguing as they're trying to figure out if this was a fake or not. And then Alvin is the first one to essentially shout, saying, "Hey! Shut up, all of you! Why is it so hard for you to believe that one of us could be chosen? I mean, isn't Narasis supposed to be this all-knowing deity? There has to be a reason why he was chosen, so why question it?" The elders all fall silent as they exchange glances at each other. The eldest of the elders adjusts his bifocals again as he goes, Well, that was quite a wisdom to be spat from someone so young. The boy bears a point. Step forward, Tyvil.
Let's step forward.
To think. The spawn of that cursed bloodline is here before us and has been chosen by Narasis themselves. Perhaps this is one of the darker days within Topravanya's history. But nevertheless, it goes on without question that we must recognize you as a hero, a champion of the people. And so, as per protocol of the pact, we, the 12 elders, give you our blessing, despite us not wanting to give it.
Well, I guess I'll take it anyway. And I'll try to leave as... words are hard. I will leave as soon as possible. No time like the present to get to my new duties, I guess.
Well, certainly then. We will have the caravan ready for you at the soonest convenience, which should be in 2 hours. You are free to wait here, but as for those two, he points to Sutor and Alvin. The two of you are to get back to whatever you are doing. Sutor, she kind of looks up at you and says, You're gonna come back, right?
Of course. I promise.
Alvin gently tugs Sutor away as he, you notice, go ahead and roll me a perception.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Fuck. This shit is always like perception. Roll.
Okay, you'd barely notice. You barely catch as he's leaving and pulling Sutor away. You see that under his little coat that he's wearing, he's flipping the bird to the elders as they're sort of walking out.
This guy's a comedian.
They leave the chamber, and the elders then begin to focus on you. They all sort of look you up and down. One of the elders on the far end is the first one to speak up again during the silence, saying, And so, pray tell us, the mark, what does it feel like?
Well, if I had to say, feels no different. Only thing that I feel different is now that I got a sense of responsibility. I guess I should uphold. Maybe it'll give me some answers. Maybe it won't. But I know what I have to do.
Another elder quickly cuts in laughing and says, Responsibilities? Child, you've been a diver your whole life. The only responsibility you've known is picking through the trash. Another elder quickly jabs him with their elbow and says, Silence, we can't speak ill of a champion, as much as we'd like to.
No, continue. I shouldn't treat me any different just because now I have a mark. And for responsibilities, of course I had to become a diver. What else was there for me to do? Someone had to look out for these orphans. Doesn't seem like y'all were helping.
You say this, and they all begin to argue amongst themselves, this definitely having struck a chord with all of them. As they all sort of begin to argue and fight amongst themselves, it is then that a rather thin villager walks in. He appears to have slightly pale skin, and from the looks of it, you think he might be a halfling. He walks up beside you looking you up and down, and he says, "Pleasure to meet you. My name is Argathol. Argathol Grey. I will be the head of your caravan."
I appreciate you. It's nice to meet you too, sir. Are we ready to go? There's nothing left much for me here.
He firmly shakes your hand and he says, "I think I vaguely remember you. When you were a small child, around 4 or 5, I think I remember seeing you running around the village being shunned quite a bit. Quite the existence. And now you're about to be the center of attention. Are you sure you're ready to be a hero?"
Hero, it doesn't really matter to me. I've always been the center of attention, whether it be for shunning or because of my curse or just because I'm an orphan. It makes no difference. I'll be a hero anyway. So that's what my responsibility, this mark, tells me I have to be.
The reason behind your escort is we are walking through the backwoods of Iotura into the capital directly. These backwoods are incredibly dangerous and filled with bandits. If we are not careful, the slightest misstep could lead to great bloodshed. And so, on our way there, you'll have to remain vigilant. Before you go, I recommend saying your final goodbyes. I'll be waiting on the edge of the village. It'll be quite some time before you're allowed to return to Toprivanyia, if at all.
Alright. I think I'll do that then. I'll see you soon.
Argathol turns to the elders, taking a strong stance before then saluting them, and then turning away, leaving the chamber. Before he does, he stops one last moment, looking you up and down once more, and he says, "I hope Narasis knows what they're doing," as he then leaves.
I'll take my leave as well then.
As you begin to leave, you see sitting on the steps Sutor and Alvin. Alvin is quick to rise to his feet as he says, "Man, you were in there quite some time. How was it? How were their old faces? Were they all blown away?"
But of course, I had to throw in a little jab here and there.
That's the ticket. Sutor, meanwhile, then says, "So you're a hero now, right? Everyone's gonna know?"
Yeah, it seems that way.
She begins to do a little dance as she says, "Tyvil's a hero, Tyvil's a hero." As she continues dancing around, Alvin, meanwhile, kind of shrugs her off and says, "So, what now? You gonna head to the orphanage and let Madam know?"
Yeah, it wouldn't be right to not say goodbye to her.
We're all gonna miss you while you're gone. You'll promise you'll write, right?
Of course. I promise to write. And if I find anything, I'll make sure to send it with you. I'll have a little something. Little trinket. Little something.
Alvin gets a small smile as he then quickly gives you a hug, holding it for a second, as he then separates and goes, "Don't make it weird. Come on."
Affection.
He then looks to Sutor, and Sutor walks up to you, and she says, "Close your eyes and open your hand."
Okay, we'll do just that.
As you hold your hand out and keep your eyes closed, you feel something very soft and delicate gently set into the palm of your hand. She then says, "Okay, you can open it."
I open my eyes and see what the hell this is.
You see a small little circlet of flowers that should fit around your wrist. She says,
Hey,
"It's a friendship bracelet. Don't lose it, okay?
okay. I appreciate that. And I'll put it around the wrist with the mark is.
You'll always have a home with us in Madam."
I know. And I appreciate that.
"Come back safe, okay? Pinky promise."
I think he promised. Ah.
And so, do you head to the orphanage?
Yes, sir. Gotta go collect that item.
Typically, the way the orphanage works is they normally kick out the kids once they hit around 16. But you were a special case. Madam took quite the liking to you growing up, and although everyone claimed that you were cursed, she was really the only one in the village that sort of talked you up. She didn't really show any outward affection, but if she ever saw you upset, she would make sure to at least give you some words of encouragement. You enter the orphanage, and you can smell that she is making stew for the orphans that return from the diving trip. And as you sort of shut the door behind you, she looks over her shoulder, her hair having been done up in a bun, and she says, "Ah, you've returned."
Yes. And I have some news.
She
I
she goes, "Oh," as she sets down the stirring spoon to the pot and turns to you.
well, it seems I've been chosen. I had the Mark of Narasis, and I'm gonna show her. Move the little flowers to show her.
She looks stunned, staring down at your wrist for a few moments, before then slowly reaching out her hands tentatively, one holding sort of the back of your wrist as her other hand sort of gently traces along the mark. She stares at it for a few moments, before then looking up to meet your eyes, and she says, "Wow. All these years of being told you were nothing. And now look."
Well, at least with this now, maybe I could make a change for the orphans here. All these years, you never looked at me like how those other people did. And for that, you'll always have my thanks.
She chuckles as she then says, "I suppose when we first met, I saw a little bit of myself in you. You see, we're not too far different, you and I. I grew up
Oh,
being called cursed, but it was for a different reason. I'm a half-elf, not a full one. And every time they would tear me down, or just send me out to the diving trips, I never felt upset about it. And I could see that you felt the same way. The ways of old reaching out to you and providing comfort. I think that's what I liked the most about you."
aw. You're not gonna cry on me, are you?
She chuckles as she playfully smacks your wrist with her hand. Um, she turns back to the stew as she begins to stir it and say, "If you'd like to stay for your last pot before you go, you're more than welcome to. But aside from that, I reckon you gather your belongings. You most likely won't be living here anymore."
Mm, yeah, sadly. But I'll always be back. I'll always come to visit. I got plans to help y'all. So you'll always see me.
She she smiles as she begins to serve your bowl, and she says, "You know, I'm not like the orphans. You can be honest with me. I don't need a fantasy to provide comfort. Just know this. The only thing that I ask is that you don't forget us. I'm not going to shower you with an obligation of returning. Just simply that you remember your roots."
Of course, I'll never forget my roots. Because even though you say you don't need a fantasy, it's my duty, my maybe obligation to come back and make this place the best place ever for all of us, you and the orphans.
As she finishes serving you, she goes over to a nearby window, opening it up and ringing a bell, shouting for all the other kids to come in and eat. And as she does, she turns and begins heading upstairs, but not before stopping one last time and looking at you, saying, "Well, Tyvil, I think before you leave, I should tell you one thing. When you were dropped off here, you had a last name. It was Fang."
Oh, Fang, you say? Wow. I appreciate you saying that, telling me. Maybe that helped me. I'll find out something on my journeys.
She turns away, not saying goodbye, as she heads up the stairs to most likely her study, which you know is up there as well. And so, as you're sitting there eating, all the other orphans come in and begin eating their stews that they were served. And when they notice your mark, or when you show them your mark, they begin showering you in hugs, not wanting you to leave. At this point, even though you were way too old to be staying at the orphanage, you kind of adopted the role of older brother amongst all 21 orphans that stay here.
Damn! I
After,
know. Oh no, go ahead, bro.
after you sort of finish your meal, um, the sun begins to go down, and they all know that it's about bedtime for them. They sadly hug you one last time, some of them crying, not wanting you to go.
Shit might make me cry. I ain't gonna, but I ain't gonna cry. Ain't no need to cry. I'll be sure to visit little. Ah!
They all begin to leave, heading back to their quarters to sleep for the night and get ready for the next day. And you gather the last of your stuff, being sure to also grab your lantern and fix it to your satchel. As you head out, heading towards the edge of town, people that were once giving you stink eye or turning away and not even acknowledging your existence, they stare at you in quiet wonder, their eyes sort of locked on you as you become this figure that is much larger than life. All this sudden attention almost makes you feel a little uneasy given how long you went being basically unnoticed. When you get to the edge of town, you find Argoth and 3 of his men waiting for you. He looks to you and he says, "Well, you took your sweet time."
Well, you know, the orphans. You know, They wanted to say their last goodbyes.
He chuckles as he then says, "Do not worry. I'm simply just yanking your chain, so to speak. Nothing to worry about. I don't know how I'd react if I had to up and leave my family." He says, "Well, the caravan's ready. There's enough supplies for us to make it to the capital within 1 day's journey. But we have to set out now." He says, "Honestly, I actually appreciate you coming in the night. Us leaving under the cover of night makes us less vulnerable to bandit attacks. They're more active in the afternoon and early mornings."
Alright. Well, no time like the present. Let's make our way to the capital.
And so, with that, you all begin to leave. As Larkbost slowly fades off in the horizon and you head southwards to the southern forest of Iotura, you can't help but feel that this might be your last time seeing home.
Oh, do I gotta say something? Oh no, go ahead. I ain't got nothing to say.
So, as you go ahead and begin your journey, 1 second, 1 minute, just making sure this is yep, perfect. So, as you begin going ahead and making your journey, heading towards the capital, a lot of the soldiers don't tend to pay you much mind, but it's not in the same vein of rudeness that you were used to. Instead, them remaining vigilant, given the dangers of the woods that you're about to enter. You yourself had never ventured beyond the woods of Toprivanyia, and although bandits weren't necessarily an uncommon thing for orphans to face that went diving, you never really encountered any growing up. And so, you're unsure of what dangers might unfold should you get into combat. You begin making your way, first getting up to the edge of the Great Lake. On the other side of the massive body of water, you can see the dim lights of Iotura shining against the sort of pale moonlit waters. Argoth walks up beside you, and he gently claps your shoulder as he says, "That is not where you're staying. That is Iotura. Are you familiar with it?"
Yeah. I am. Just a little bit.
Ah, you're more traveled than you look then. He, as he sort of walks along the water with you, the horse is pulling the caravan, letting out the occasional snort or huff as they walk. He then says, "So, essentially, the capital is its own sovereign area. When we get there, you will be meeting up with essentially your mentor, someone from the previous egg-bearing group. He will be the one to guide you throughout your journey as a tender to the egg."
Okay. Makes sense. Does he still have his mark?
Yes, the mark never leaves once it's placed.
Okay. Makes sense.
However, it's unclear what exactly happens when someone with the mark dies. But, then again, no one with the mark has ever passed away before. And the job seems fairly easy. A simple guard detail of a stationary object that's at the top of a temple.
That does sound easy, but you never know what might happen.
Well, look at it this way. Should something ever happen to the egg, then that's simply it. The end of society. The 5 kingdoms crumble, and well, it will all be for naught. The pact, Narasis, all life will be gone to the wastes. But no pressure. He chuckles as he claps your shoulder firmly.
Nah, no pressure at all. No.
Perhaps it is best that you go ahead and rest inside the caravan. We are your guard detail, and you'll need to be at your best during the early morning and late afternoon, like I said. The journey should end once we go ahead and hit nightfall. By that point, the next nightfall will be in the capital.
All right. I'll do just that then.
So, you go ahead and you hop into the caravan and start resting up. And as you're going ahead and resting up, you can almost hear the faint whispers in the back of your head.
Can I like focus on it? Or no? Or just
You
waiting
can.
for something? Oh, bet. Let me focus on it and see what is it saying.
I want you to go ahead and roll me a... One moment while I check. I want you to go ahead and roll me a... Charles. Trying to
Are
check.
you clicking it?
Yeah, I'm
my
clicking
fault,
it.
though.
I want you to go ahead and roll me a either perception or a knowledge arcana.
Knowledge Arcana. Okay. I can do that.
One of the two.
Okay. Let's try the Knowledge Arcana. I do got like... what did I roll? I can't see.
All right. So, you begin to focus and listen into the whispers. And for the first time in your entire life, you're able to discern what they're saying. The whispers are saying, "The land of the tribes, Dosnijan. The land of the tribes, the highest point. The land of the tribes."
Tribes. I guess it makes sense.
And so, as you're lying there, your eyes close, roll me a perception at a -8.
-8. We gotta do that. Oh my gosh.
And so,
It's 1.
you are completely undisturbed and have a rather peaceful sleep. But then, you are jolted awake as you tumble out of the back end of the cart. When you tumble out of the back end and your back sort of hits the dirt, your eyes shoot open to a battle. Let me go ahead here and... oh, that's actually a poor color to choose for these guys. Hold on 1 second. There you go. And then let me go ahead and click on or more like drag. Delete.
We're gonna make this shit a pop out. Ugh.
Delete. Delete. And so your eyes go ahead and shoot open to a battle.
Oh, oh, this is assault.
And so the cart is currently being ransacked and attacked by bandits. And roll me a perception.
Perception. Okie dokie. Fuck!
And so you are completely unsuspecting as you hear up at the front Argoth shout, "Protect the mark bearer at all cost!"
He's bugging.
Shouting is heard as fighting ensues amongst the combatants and their sudden assailants. And so, go ahead and roll initiative.
Initiative. That's intimidate. Is it on the same shit?
Yeah, your initiative is under main. It's going to be right under hit points. It says initiative and it's spelled INIT.
Oh, hit points. Oh, okay. How the fuck? I'm clicking it. Oh, okay, yeah.
Alright, and so let me go ahead and do something on my end real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh, this shit makes me hype.
Oh shit. So, Argoth is the first one to lash out at the bandit that you have clear line of sight of. You see him pull his sword back as he jabs forward. The bandit tries to dodge out of the way. Let me go ahead here and... The bandit deftly sidesteps, laughing at Argoth, saying, "Man, I knew the people of Toprivanyia were soft, but not this soft." As this is going on the opposite side of the cart, you hear more clashing going on. Let me go ahead here and... Oh, shit. Okay. So, you hear the clanging of steel as a blow is parried. Before then, one of the guards of Toprivanyia actually gets the upper hand, slashing at one of the bandits and cleaving into his chest, dealing... Oh, shit. The bandit drops.
Oh my gosh.
As blood sprays, the Topravanyan guard turns his attention to the other bandit. However, this bandit is actually able to move first. He moves in on the other ally, going ahead and striking, and it appears that he is able to plunge his dagger into the side of this assailant. And let's see here. So, as the dagger sinks into his side, the man lets out a pained scream and the bandit kicks him away. He clutches the wound tightly as he then tries to riposte, but the bandit is able to duck it and roll to the side. As this is going on, out of the forest, you hear steps running up behind you, and you hear a voice simply say, "Hand over your coin and I won't kill you."
Oh, it's not the act?
So it's currently their turn, but you can feel like a dagger being pressed like against your back, as if he's ready to like strike if you do anything.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna say it's in the cart, so that like it's right there in the cart.
Go ahead and roll a bluff.
Okay, where's that? Where's the bluff? Hey, what is it? Public roll. There we go. Ooh. I hope that's good.
Let me see here.
12. Please.
And so you hear them say, "Ah, it's in the card, huh?" He begins shifting around you, keeping you at weapons point as he tries to make his way over to the cart. That is his turn, and finally, the last guard runs over, flanking the other guard and attempting to stab at him. And let's see here. And he whiffs. The other bandit, seeing the maneuver coming and sidestepping, getting in a less disadvantageous position between the other two that are guarding you. And so it is finally your turn.
I'm gonna move out of the. Wait, is he getting in the cart? Yeah, he's getting in the cart, right?
He's moving. Yeah, he's moving towards the cart. To give you like kind of like a visual of what he's doing, he's like awkwardly reaching out with one hand and like shuffling over to the cart as he's got an eye on you and the dagger like pointed at you.
I'm gonna back up and seem like I'm afraid and get out of his thing range. And then once I'm out of that range, it's time to use what's it called? What spell is that? Ray of Frost.
So I want you to go ahead and roll me a bluff as you try to leave his area.
Okay. Hopefully this shit is. Ooh.
You steadily begin to back away, looking afraid, and he does not take the attack of opportunity, assuming you are scared of him. He chuckles as he says, "Some warrior you are." He turns his back to you, and so now you're allowed to cast your spell.
Oh damn! Which one do I want to? Nah, let me use Burning Hands, and I get that +1 with my
what's the range on Burning Hands?
25 feet.
All right, go ahead and roll it. You just have to click on the spell. All right. And so... I see. Okay, so this one you're actually going to have to roll a d20 to hit. It doesn't have the commodic. Yep.
D20?
Yep. So slash roll d20, and then you're going to add... I believe since you are a sorcerer, you add your charisma modifier to hit.
So that's plus, let's see.
+2.
+2. Okay. Plus, no, that's equals.
You quickly jab out both your hands, shouting, "Burning Hands!" as it sears out and two twisted palms of infernal fire reach out and go to grasp at him. He dives to the side, and your hands sear prints into the side of the cart. He then turns to you and he goes, "Two things. Dick move for tricking me. 2, better aim."
Hey, I can't lie to you there. Can't lie to you there.
At the front of the cart, you hear the brawl continuing to sort of carry on. Let me go ahead here. Oh, shit. What the fuck? Okay. Argoth steps forward and goes to swing on the bandit, and the bandit catches his wrist and goes to stab him in the stomach. Oh, no. The bandit's rolling to confirm.
Oh, no.
Oh, that confirms.
Oh, he got a crit?
You hear the pain cries of Argoth as you then hear a body drop.
Oh nah.
As this is going on the other side of the cart, the other guard proceeds to move around to the other side of the bandit and try to swing at him, and he ducks it, stepping back and getting his back against the cart to avoid being able to be flanked. As this is going on, he then tries to step and slash at this bandit. In doing so, let's see here. This guard sees it coming, having been stabbed by him before and not falling for the same trick. He takes a step back and the knife whiffs through the air. He immediately moves in for the riposte and successfully strikes him down. Let's see here. Oh, this bandit is still holding on, but he has a gnarly scar on his face. He clutches where the wound is as he lets out a pained yell. At the back of the cart, your assailant then says, "Well, since you tried to stab me in the back, I suppose I'll have to return the favor." Yeah! He moves in and goes to stab you. Let me go ahead here and... let's see. What is your AC?
Let's see. It is 12.
You barely step out of the way, narrowly avoiding a wild slash that is targeted at you. And as he sort of cuts through the air with his knife, he looks at you with a snarky smile. Up at the front of the cart, the other guard steps forward to the bandit and tries to slash at him again, desperately trying to avenge his commander, shouting angrily. And the bandit says, "All you Toprivanyans are the same. Completely irrational and full of emotion." And so then it is your turn.
So the man is right in front of me, right?
Yeah.
That's like arm's length. Ooh. Shit. I don't want to do nothing too risky. Oh. All right, so how does the attack of opportunity? That's just like if I act without like that feat, right? If I do something in his range, right?
If you cast a spell within his sort of area, he gets an attack of opportunity. If you try to move threatening squares from him, he gets an attack of opportunity. And then if you were attacking him with a melee attack and you fumbled, he would get an attack of opportunity.
Okay.
I will also say, because you don't have unarmed strike, trying to hit him with your fist would provoke an attack of opportunity because you're not. Oh wait, yeah, that's right.
I got claws.
I forgot of that.
So that would be a melee. So the only way he'd be able to thing is if I fumble, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm using my claw.
So with your claws, because it's a melee attack, you roll with your strength modifier.
Okay. Oh, with the modifier, right? So I don't click strength. I just click the modifier.
No, you can click strength and it'll roll the same thing.
Okay. Oh, okay. Ooh.
Let me see the AC of this thing. You rake your claw suddenly through the air, and he leans backwards in an almost Matrix fashion. Your claws ripping through, and he goes, "You're definitely not normal, are you?"
No, sadly not. But you know what they say, normal is boring. Like, come on now.
He grins as he says, "Ah, so some of you do have spines."
Oh, yeah. I guess.
Wow.
But I see... Oh, no, go ahead. Oh.
So, You hear the sounds of continuing battle all around you on the upper and side end of the cart. It appears that no one is getting wounded, though. More slashing and huffing and grunts of effort are heard as the caravan is, tussling and jostling. The horses at the front getting uneasy but not moving. And then the bandit in front of you, he proceeds to attempt to try and stab at you, jutting the dagger forward and going, "Just die already so I can take your loot." Oh, what did you say your AC was?
That's not an attack of opportunity, right?
No, this is just the attack on his turn.
It's 12. Is it something bad? Well, I got
Yes,
something.
he
I
does.
got something for it.
He does
I
hit.
got you. He does hit?
Yeah.
Oh, I got something for it. I came prepared. I'm gonna use a windy escape. It's a instantaneous shit.
Okay. Could you go ahead and click on it so the effects can pop up in the chat?
Yup.
Alright. You respond to an attack by briefly becoming vaporous and insubstantial. Let's see. Allowing the attack to pass harmlessly. You gain a DR of 10 magic against this attack and are immune to any spells, sneak attacks, or critical hit effects. You cannot use against an attack of opportunity provoked by a spell using a spell. Okay. And so, as his blade goes to pass into you and stab you, you slowly begin to dematerialize, and his eyes widen as his dagger catches nothing. He then says, "What?" Your turn.
I'm gonna go for another melee attack with my claws.
Alright, roll it.
Okay, the strength. Hold on, I gotta pull up my other tab real quick. Okay, lean. Let's go.
You hit!
Let's go.
And so, let's go ahead here. And what are the damage on your claws?
Damn. Hold on, I gotta look at it. Wait, echo. Additional. Should I just public roll it so we can see?
Yeah, you can just public roll it.
Okay.
Starting at first level, you can grow claws as a free action. These weapon. Each of these deals. Alright, so 1d4 plus your strength mod.
Okay.
Those are really good.
I know, right?
Those are as hard as a dagger.
Roll the 1d4 plus 2, right? Yeah,
Yep.
That's my thing.
You take your claws, and as he's sitting there in surprise, you bury them into his chest and twist before ripping them out, blood spraying. He stumbles back, clutching his chest, but he doesn't fall, just barely clinging on as he goes, "What the hell are you?"
They call me cursed, but for you, I'm about to be your death.
And so the battle continues to unfold. As there is clashing and the swinging of swords being heard, the bandit on the side of the cart makes a fatal misstep and is cut down by both guards after whiffing a dagger slash. But meanwhile, on the opposite side of the cart, the tussle takes another unfortunate turn as another pained yell is heard from one of your fellow guardsmen. Ooh. Multiple stabs go into him as he stumbles back, barely clinging to life. And so, the enemy in front of you, as he hears all this, he goes, "It's impressive that you still have the will to fight on. But you will die here." And he goes to lunge at you, slashing wildly. Let's see here. You said your AC was 12, right?
Yep.
So he barely hits.
Barely? What does that mean? Is that gonna like take 6 HP?
Well, we gotta see how much that takes. 5 damage.
Do I want to take it? That I'll still be able to fight though, right? Even though I'm damaged.
Well, assuming you don't drop to 0 hit points, yes.
But it's 5 damage and I got 6 health. So, shit.
You'd still be able to fight.
Yeah, I know, but do I want to take the damage? I think that's as best as I could get. So, yeah, I'll take the damage, and then that means I get an attack of opportunity, right?
No. An attack of opportunity would be provoked if you rolled a nat, like 1.
Oh, okay.
And so, he springs out of nowhere, and as he swings his dagger wildly through the air, you feel the sharp blade sink just below your ribs. You cough up a little bit of blood as the wound, although not immediately fatal, certainly hurts.
It's my turn, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Give me another fucking claw, Monica.
Huh?
Give me another fucking claw. Strength, right?
Yep.
Copy. Ah, fuck.
You try to slash at him, and he deftly ducks under, spinning around to get to your side as he pulls the dagger out of you. He flips it to a reverse grip and says, "I'm gonna make you pay for cutting me open, you little shit." And so, let's go ahead here. For these two guys' turns...
Oh, okay. No, go ahead.
They are going to go ahead. Hold on, let me make sure that I can... Yeah, they'd be able to move here. So, they both quickly try to rush to your aid. They appear to be running over to you. However, they're only able to get to about here, given the armor that they're wearing. And so, over up top, the life and death brawl begins between these two as they hack at each other, desperately trying to finish each other off. And they're still going. The clanging of steel is heard as they angrily glare at each other.
Parry.
And so, the bandit in front of you, as he sees your allies rounding the corner coming to help you, he grins at you and he says, "It's tragic your friends get to watch you bleed out." He then goes to lunge forward. Come on, roll 20. Come on. There we go.
Don't leave me in suspense.
And you feel the dagger pierce into you.
Oh wait! I can't use my.
How many first level spell uses do you have per day?
3. I got 1 more.
All right, then yeah, you can go ahead and use it. And so you conjure up the last bit of magic within you and dematerialize. His eyes widen as he goes, "What the hell?" As the dagger passes through cleanly, what do?
Shit, son. If I was to move, that'd provoke another attack, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then I'll go for another claw then. I'll go for one more claw. I'm gonna bet everything on this. I'm gonna bet everything. Where my strength,
hits.
Bro, 15. Please tell me it's enough, bro.
Roll damage.
Let's go. Slash roll. 1d4. +2.
And so, you smile down at him, having seen the dagger pass cleanly through you, and as he stumbles back, the dagger rematerializing, you slash his face, tearing it open, and he drops to the ground, yelling in pain before falling still. The other 2 guards that were running to your aid slow to a stop as they stare at you. And meanwhile, up at the top, the last bandit sees that he's all alone and his allies are fallen, and he attempts to try and pull away to escape. The other warrior takes his opportunity to strike. And he hits!
Hey.
But it is merely a glancing blow, scarring his opponent as his opponent slips away into the woods. And with that, the combat ends.
Let's go! Let's fucking go!
And so, as you stand there huffing, clutching your wound, the 2 soldiers rush to your aid, quickly bandaging you up and stopping the bleeding before it becomes anything serious. As they're tending to your wounds, the other soldier comes, his head lowered sadly, as he says, "The commander has fallen." The other soldiers exchange a somber glance as the one that was fighting beside Argoth nods to them and says, "Load the Chosen One into the caravan. We have to get to the capital as soon as possible. For the commander." They both nod and say, "For the commander." Charles, you're quickly helped up and hoisted into the caravan, safely loaded in. And it is there that you begin to journey up to the capital. There are no further hitches within your ride. And as you leave the remains of the bloody battlefield looking back, you can't help but feel saddened for the people who laid down their lives to protect you. With that, we close the session.
Hey.
Thank you guys
Let's
so much
go.
for tuning in. As mentioned, if you enjoy Tales of Iotura, not only do we have the infographic here showing where I am streaming it and what times we stream it at, so if you want to catch a live session, it's going to be over there using that link. Feel free to click it. But also, if you'd like to see the other solo sessions or any other special sessions that aren't over on Twitch, please feel free to click the playlist that should be down below, somewhere either in the description or off to the side. Anyways, lots of love to you guys. Thanks for supporting the series, and I hope y'all have a nice one. Bye!
Bye.